Hello world, my name is Ihor and this is a Techno Break. Some time ago I was looking for a delay module for my case and I was looking for something special, for something experimental. And after a little research I came across the Imitor Versio from Noise Engineering, I got it and I fell in love with it from day one. Because without even me going into deep understanding on how it works, I got so much amazing results from it. Like, I had so much fun and joy by just playing with knobs, twisting them here and there, and hearing the results. But then I read this whole topic about flashing it into the different softwares, and I tried the Desmodus. Fell in love with Desmodus, of course. Then Electus came out. I fell in love with Electus. And then there was Ruina. I fell in love with it as well. And now I've realized that I've never came back to the Imitor Versio itself, and I've never learned it that much. But now it's back, and I spend a little bit more time in exploring and understanding how it works. And today I'd like to make a little walkthrough of the controls, show you guys what this delay is, and make a little track together with the Digitact and drum beat, which I have already prepared. So yeah, without further ado, let's do it. And for the setup today, I have Basimilus as the main voice, MAM-M8 as a filter, of course Imitor Versio, and outputs left and right connected to the palette outputs right here. Pons A Sonorum, I'm gonna utilize it as a filter envelope. Lobster sauce for attenuation, then steppy scales and mimetic combination. This is quite a famous one. And then the MIDI. And we receive MIDI clock from the Digitact right here. And output from the modular, the audio, goes back into the Digitact. And it's monitored right here as an external mixer without any effects, just direct sound. And I have some drum groove prepared here on the Digitact. So yeah, let's start. And first of all, I'd like to trigger the Basimilus. So I'm gonna multiply output A from steppy and trigger the trig of Basimilus, and also get it into the Pons A Sonorum input 1. Then output from Basimilus goes into the filter. From the filter, it goes into the Imitor Versio. So in Imitor, you have two inputs. So basically, you can send stereo signal into it. But if you send just left, it's going to be normalized to the right input as well. And also, I have to patch the filter envelope. And yeah, let's put one trig. Nice. So what I'd like to do is to have like a little plucky sound so that we can hear the delay clearly. It's too long, maybe like this. Nice. A few words about the Imitor Versio. So Imitor Versio is a tap delay. It's actually 12 taps delay. That means that every piece of audio that it receives is going to be repeated 12 times, 12 taps. This is really important to keep in mind. So let's start with Imitor controls. We have blend, which is our dry wet knob. At 12 o'clock, it's going to be kind of equal wet and dry signal. Fully to the right is going to be only wet, fully to the left only dry. I'm going to leave it at around 1 o'clock so that we have the delay lines clearly, we can audition them clearly. Then there is regen knob. This is the feedback knob, but I'm going to leave it at 0, basically no feedback generated. And I'm gonna come back to it a little later. And I'd like to go to spread. And spread is our time, delay time. It determines how much time it's gonna take from now, from the now time, until the 12th tap. So it kind of spreads the taps in time. Same 12 taps, but with different amount of time. Let's leave it somewhere here. It took a long time to get rid of these 12 long taps actually. And there is a tap button. We can tap tempo in, something like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the spread knob is going to be our clock divider. I like using Steppy to have like a relative, time visual representation. So let's see. We have our first dry signal right here, the original signal, and then 12 taps happening up until here. And now I'd like to cover the time knob, because for me that was a little bit complicated to understand without, reading it through and understanding. So the time knob, what it actually does, it offsets the first tap in time. So it pushes it a little bit forward, and it can push it up until the end of the spread. So it's basically fraction of the spread time. So basically, imagine you have spread like this. This is time going that direction, right? You have spread like this. Then if you move time, it's gonna move the first tap over here, and then the 12 taps will happen in between still these two. The last tap time is not gonna be pushed. It doesn't work like a pre-delay, which is pushing the whole thing, right, in time. It just offsets it a little bit. So let's have a listen. And let's check the Steppy right here. So we have first tap over here, and last one over here. But now if I move the time knob, look what happens. We still have the same 12 taps, but they are happening in between this and this time, like here and there. So our first tap is happening right here on the 4th step. And it can be up until really last one. And then we have like a little amount of time, like short amount of time, when all 12 taps are happening. We cannot even distinguish that there is like different taps going on. Anyway, let's go back to this. Then we have our skew knob, which actually affects the spacing in between the taps. So if I go to the left, taps will start fast and then slow down. And the timing of spread knob will remain. You can get pretty cool rhythms with this. To the right, it does the opposite thing. It starts slow and then speeds up like a bouncing ball. Then there is angle, and this is like a stereo spreading kind of thing. What it does, it introduces the stereo offset relatively to the previous tap. And it kind of goes into circles. So if I introduce it a little bit to the left, the taps are going to be offset to the left, and then they're gonna come back to the right and travel in a circle. In the opposite way, it's gonna happen in the opposite way, of course, starting from right to left. And then there is an LFO, which modulates the taps and introduces the bandpass filter to them. And also I think it modulates in a way that it creates some sort of chorus effect a little bit, because it becomes a little bit kind of wide in stereo field. And to the right, it modulates with the triangle LFO. And the more you go to the right, the more modulation is gonna happen. And to the left, it modulates with the random LFO. Then we have a couple of switches right here. So the first one, I'm gonna cover it together with feedback knob, but the second one determines it affects the volume of the taps. So right now it's in the middle, which means that all the taps will be equal volume. To the right, it's gonna do a crescendo effect or increase the volume of each next tap. Starts from nothing and then louder and louder until 12's one sounds the loudest. And to the left is going to be decrescendo, like the opposite. It starts loud and goes quiet. This one, in combination with skew, can give some pretty interesting rhythmic results as well. Let's go back to this. So, Regen is our feedback knob. And it's a little bit crazy because you already have 12 taps of delay, right? And the moment you start introducing Regen or Regen, it's gonna send all these taps back into delay. Let's listen. Past 12 o'clock is gonna introduce even more feedback back into the delay. And past 3 o'clock, similarly to Desmodus and Electus, it's gonna duck the original signal, duck the delay signal with the dry original signal. Sort of like, let's listen with the bass line maybe. Sort of like the ducking effect. Let's come back to somewhere 12 o'clock. And this last top switch is a feedback type switch. So right now it's limiter, like to the left it's limited or using the limiter. That means that the feedback is not clipping and it's quite clean. We can hear it. In the middle, we have distorted feedback. So instead of limiting, we have clipping in place. So we have this, and this does not affect the taps themselves. Like nothing happens to taps. It only affects the feedback. And to the right, it's a shimmering feedback. This feeds back the 1 octave higher feedback. So it receives the signal, pitch it up 1 octave and feeds it back to delay. This can go pretty crazy actually. Let's switch 1 octave here. Then, if you hold tap for 2 seconds and the buttons flash, it means that the tempo or tap tempo is going to be reset. And if you hold this longer than 2 seconds, like I think 5 seconds or something, it's going to clean all the delay taps and all the delay feedback completely. So it's really a good way to start over, because this module can generate so much feedback that it kind of goes crazy, and sometimes you just need to clean this stuff. I didn't know about it, by the way. So, and then every single of these knobs can be modulated by CV, like LFOs and whatnot. So let's try to patch the scales and stuff to have some melodic content and have our drums going. So I'm gonna multiply these the steps into the mimetic digitalis. And then the fourth channel is going to go into scales and going to be quantized to the Phrygian scale. Then we're going to drop the pitch output from scales into the basimilus. And I'd like to reset the mimetic as well from output C. We're going to reset it over here. And let's also clock the emitter from output D into the tap over here. So I'm going to go into D, select just so 2 steps, and I'm going to select just first step as a trigger, so that we're going to have like twice slower clock than coming right here, like this. And then going back into the C, I'm going to enable maybe 6 steps and put 1 trig to reset mimetic digitalis once in a while. So the channel 4, I'm going to make it 0 so far. And let's have a listen. Maybe we can put some so load 0 shred, let's find some melody. Yeah, maybe like this. Let's use the angle to spread the delay lines. Maybe we can use the channel 4 as an LFO, maybe. The channel 4. And then make it slower. And I can go back into the lapses and then modulate the angle with it. Let's make it even slower. Nice. Then from lapses we can, for example, modulate the regain a little bit more, so we can have like a manual control for regain, like a fader. And let's try to play a little bit with skew and the rest. So I'm going to introduce a little modulation. And then the skew. Yo. Maybe longer decay. Maybe we can use the lapses as well to modulate and make decay longer, like right here. Let's make it shorter like this, and then both of them regain. We can modulate together, like output from lapses to modulate the regain and increase the decay of filter envelope. Let's add a little more triggers, maybe, and more modulation. Let's try skew to another. This combination of steppy, scales, and mimetic is outstanding for generating random melodies, but still be in scale. I really fell in love with the Phrygian scale lately. Detuned territory. Maybe faster clock. Let's remove feedback and make the filter envelope shorter. Let's try distorted feedback and maybe crescendo effect. And move time a little bit. All kinds of different things are going on. And let's now introduce, so we don't have any feedback, but the feedback is set to distorted, and we can have a pretty nice breakdown, I think. Yes. Let's resonate that filter. Remove modulation from angle. And now longer time and random modulation, and the feedback, no, the taps to have equal volume. So the maximum regen docks the signal. Nice. Yo. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. You know the drill. likes and all this stuff. I really appreciate you here on my channel. Hope you learned something new about the Imitor Versio. I've talked a little bit about the Versio platform and how easy it is to change the software inside of it in my previous Techno Break, so check it out. It's also about the Lactus Versio. But rather than that, until the next time, have fun. Let's make it maybe with the track B, and then we're gonna send it into the third envelope over here, and let's, with this envelope, let's go from this envelope first of all into the lapses to attenuate the signal, and from the lapses back into the time. So I want it to happen on the first step, like, so that time will be modulated. Okay, it's super short one. We need to go and make it longer, like really long. Yes, like this. So you can see the knob or the LED over here. And let's listen carefully what's gonna happen. Yes, this. Let's try shimmering stuff. Back to limited and crescendo. Let's try to regenerate the melody. And maybe from the track C, we can go like 8 steps. Something like that.